Lecce, the Baroque capital of Italy, a unique architectural ensemble from the 16th to the 18th century, surrounded by blooming gardens. The city was already a fascinating centre in ancient times. Founded by the Messappers, the city was conquered by the Romans in the 3rd century BC and was called Lupiae. Later, the Normans took over. Frederick II left the land to his son Manfred, and the Order of the Jesuits built its churches here later. No expense was spared on splendour and furnishings, and the Italian Baroque exudes it here with extraordinary originality and variety. Each altar is a perfect masterpiece of the art of stone carving. Also, in the centre of the town stands the church of Santa Irene of Lecce, the first city saint. The church has experienced important historical events. Here, in October 1860, it was decided to enter the Kingdom of Italy. And in 1866, the adjoining monastery of the Theatinas was abolished. No expenses were spared on the buildings either. Architects and stonemasons created chiselled facades with figures, balconies and decorations from the golden yellow rock calcarenite. The Cathedral Square forms a harmonious ensemble, a complete work of Baroque art. With the Cathedral Santa Maria dell'Assunta, the Bishop's Palace with a large loggia, and the adjoining Pallazzo del Seminario. A sacral museum was established in this palazzo, which was built from 1694 on. And the small chapel could be preserved unchanged. The cathedral, with its large bell tower and facade, decorated with niches for saints, was built between 1659 and 1670. However, the simple design of the tower and main facade is deceptive. For inside, the Baroque splendour knows no bounds. With painted coffered ceiling, 3 naves and a lavishly decorated main altar and 12 secondary altars. Here, Giuseppe Zimbalo, with his large team of handicraft artists, created a magnificent church building. And Giuseppe de Brindisi and Oronzo Tisi created the paintings. The decorative pomp is concentrated mainly on the altars of the chapels, the capitals of the columns, and the precious carved and gilded coffered ceiling. Finally, the crypt, supported by 92 columns, which was built at the beginning of the 15th century, was built on the medieval remains of another crypt. The magnificent Basilica Santa Croce can be called the triumph of Baroque. Again, the structure and motifs are the same. Not surprisingly, as Giuseppe Zimbalo and Gabriele Riccardi were here at work too, and contributed to this excess of decoration. Under the Roman Emperor Hadrian, an amphitheatre was built in the 2nd century, whose impressive remains can still be seen today in the middle of the city centre. Formerly, this place of battle and entertainment had space for up to 5,000 viewers. So far, only half of this ancient site has been uncovered. A large part of the Piazza Sant'Oronzo is therefore no longer available. But nowadays, in summer, events are staged here, and the Roman theatre becomes an open-air stage. Squeezed into the narrow streets, the magnificent Baroque facade of the church Santa Chiara surprisingly appears. From 1687 onwards, the architect Giuseppe Here from Lecce rebuilt this interesting church construction here on a building from the 15th century. And 6 Baroque side altars are lavishly decorated with groups of figures in stone and wood. Finally, there is the church of San Matteo, with an original facade, which is a surprise in the middle of the predominantly decorative Leccesian Baroque. Inside, on an elliptical floor plan, the high altar, the various side altars, and in between them, the statues of the apostles are all worth seeing. The entire ensemble of altars seems almost like the ideal stage decoration for Baroque splendour. After the Normans, the Anjou, the Brienne and finally the Enghien followed, until Lecce came under the direct rule of the Aragons in 1463. Then the city became the centre of the Kingdom of Naples. In the 16th century, on the remains of a Norman fortress, the Castello was built to defend against Ottoman attacks by order of Charles V. The Baroque Lecce had to be protected, a splendour created by the great artists of the time.